Welcome to Introspection, the podcast about moving from grief to growth. I'm Amy Lindner-Lesser, your host. Introspection started out as a podcast about hospitality, innkeeping, and innkeepers. After about a year, I realized that my life and interests have morphed from hospitality to helping others navigate from grief and loss to growth and living. In this new version of Introspection, I will be talking about my personal experiences with loss, and there are quite a few, what I've learned along the way through my professional training, as well as from my coaching experiences. I'll also be bringing in guests to share interesting ideas. So grab a beverage, find a comfy place, take a deep breath, and listen in. Welcome back, friends. We've made it through the holidays, or at least the major holidays in December. But guess what? There's another one around the corner. Valentine's Day. The Hallmark Holiday. For those of you who are in the first year of mourning the loss of a loved one, your soulmate, your partner, your spouse, or if like me, it's your 23rd going into your 24th year without the person you love, Valentine's Day can bring up a whole lot of difficult emotions. It's all around you. Every place you go, there are cards, there are hearts everywhere. The floral shops are sending out things, buy flowers for the person you love, get the chocolates, buy special treats. And you walk past them, scroll past them on your feed on Facebook or your emails, and you feel like your loss just happened today. Well, I want to help you. We know that everybody grieves differently, and there's no set pattern for the way people grieve, that we go up and down, we go through stages and out of stages, and then sometimes back to the same stage again. So the first suggestion I have for you is be gentle with yourself. To allow yourself the feels. Allow yourself the emotions that come up. And if Valentine's Day ends up being a day that you can stay in bed and not deal with the world, go for it. Stay in bed. Do what you need to do. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to laugh, laugh. Second suggestion, ignore all the rules that you think are there. Rules don't need to apply to you today or really any other day. Be a rebel. Make your own rules. Make a rule that fits for how you feel on that day. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't change the rule for next year. You may want to. But for this year, make your rule and follow it. So let's see, how can you do that? You can pamper yourself, devote the day to self-care. So again, self-care could mean sleeping later. It could mean taking a bubble bath with candles or without. It could mean finding a comfortable place in your house or outside where you can sit and read a book. It could mean taking yourself to a dark movie theater and watching a movie, and bring some tissues. And if you need to cry, you've got them. It's also a good idea to reach out to other people. If you have people who you feel comfortable with and you know that they won't be judgmental about how you're feeling, they won't try to rush you along to get through your grief faster, reach out to them and say, I think I'm going to have a hard time on Valentine's Day, or I am having a hard time with Valentine's Day. Would you mind very much being my support person? Will you have dinner with me? If there isn't somebody, then make a new tradition. Order out and have it delivered to your house. Set yourself up with either your beloved's favorite meal or your favorite meal. Light a candle if you want or don't. Have a glass of wine or don't. Do what makes you feel good, but make it a special dinner. You could even send yourself flowers or pick up a bouquet and have the flowers on the table. Make a romantic dinner for yourself, because one of the things that I learned, and if you listen to my podcast with Karen McPhail, is you need to make yourself your soulmate. So woo yourself, treat yourself in a wonderful, loving, caring way. What I found when I was in college and I had broken up with my boyfriend, who eventually became my husband because we did get back together. But at that time, I was so down on men. I was feeling miserable. My graduate school roommate had broken up with her boyfriend, and we had a Valentines Day celebration. We invited all of our single female friends, and we had a fun evening. Sometimes we trashed the men. Sometimes we just laughed at how silly things were. But most importantly, what we did was we supported each other with everything that we were going through. You could include men, or if you're a man, you could include women and have a Valentine's party. Doesn't matter who you invite, just make sure they're people who are supportive of you. You could also spend time doing what I love to do, which is journaling. And whether you write with your own hand and a pen on paper, or you put your journal onto the computer, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you get your thoughts and your feelings out. It could be a love letter to the person who you lost, who you wish was with you this year on Valentine's Day, or it just could be your feelings. Again, do what feels best for you. Another way would be to do something that would honor your beloved, your soulmate. You could make a financial donation to an organization that was important to them or to you. If you don't have the financial resources for that, you could volunteer your time. You could donate objects. Those are all ways to commemorate and memorialize someone. If you live in a community where the weather is nicer than the Northeast where I am, you could plant a tree in their memory. You could visit a garden and find the flowers that remind you of them. Do acts of loving kindness and play it forward for other people. Sometimes sending a Valentine's card to someone who you know might be missing their soulmate or their important person helps you too. It's maybe the only card they give or get, and it's a wonderful way to honor your love and your relationship with that person. Refocus. And this could be a journaling prompt. It could be just a sitting and meditating or thinking prompt. I hate using the word meditation because it's something that when I hear it, I have a hard time thinking that I can meditate. However, sitting and just thinking and letting my thoughts go is really meditating. I just don't call it that. So you could use that time to refocus on the things that bring you joy. What is it that makes you happy? Make a list and commit to doing more of those things. Sometimes they're things that you used to do with your loved one, and sometimes they're things that you stopped doing because they might not have enjoyed it or it didn't fit in with the life that the two of you had had together. Make yourself a priority and a promise to yourself, a Valentine's Day promise, that you will do at least one thing that brings you joy every single day. And I think the last thing that I want to suggest is to connect with either a group of people who have lost important people in their lives, or to connect with a coach. And I want to remind you that I'm here. You can reach out to me at the links below. Having somebody who isn't personally attached, who can listen compassionately and also without personal reactions is really helpful. So remember, Valentine's Day doesn't have to be as hard as you might be anticipating. It's a day to celebrate that you love yourself and that you had somebody to love. And most probably, you will find other people to love in different ways, not the same, because no two relationships are the same. But it is possible to navigate your way through grief and loss to growth and living. And on that, I want to say have a happy, have a passable, have a Valentine's Day. Sending you my heart, my love, and virtual hugs for Valentine's Day and always. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye. If you liked what you heard on this podcast and want to hear more, please follow us and tell your friends. You can also find me on Facebook at Amy Lindner Lesser, Grief to Growth Life Coaching, and on LinkedIn at Amy Lindner Lesser.